Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is CA Radhika. In this session we are going to discuss about Article 20, that is the protection in respect of conviction of offence, which is a part of the fundamental rights which is mentioned in the part 3 of Indian Constitution. Before starting the session, let's get some brief revision of what we had done in the previous videos. I had told you that there are 6 fundamental rights: right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom and religion, cultural and educational rights, and the last one, right to constitutional remedies. Out of which we had covered right to equality in totality, article number 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Use your mind to remember the names of these articles. Article number 14 relates to the equality before law. Article number 15 relates to prohibition of discrimination on grounds of race, religion, caste, sex, place of birth. Article number 16 related to equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. 17 related to untouchability and 18 related to abolition of titles. Now we are going to discuss about right to freedom, out of which we had already covered in the previous video, article number 19. I hope you had all watched that video, related to the freedom of speech and expression, forming an association, freedom to move any part of the territory of India. These are the rights we have discussed in article 19. Now in this we are going to discuss article 20, which is the protection in respect of conviction for offence. So let's get a brief or a quick reading of the article which is mentioned in the Constitution. Now just look at the what is written in the Constitution. Then after we will going to discuss one by one all the clauses. Article 20 comprises of 3 clauses. The main heading it is protection in respect of, just give me a minute, yeah, now, protection in respect of conviction for offence. Article 20 giving the fundamental rights, which is the part of the fundamental rights, which providing the protection किसके respect में, conviction के respect में. Now clause number 1, no person. Here the word you need to take into consideration, that is word person is mentioned. It is not mentioned citizens. Shall be convicted for any offence except for violation of a law in force at the time of commission of the act. Except for the violation of law in force at the time of commission of act. कि कोई भी person जो convict नहीं किया जाएगा for an offence के लिए except at the time it is considered to be an offence, charged an offence, not be subject to a penalty greater than which is have been inflicted under the law in force at a time of commission of the offence. Clause number 2, no person shall be prosecuted and punished for the same offence more than once. Clause number 3, no person accused of any offence shall be compelled to a witness against himself. Now I hope you get the understanding of what is being actually written. Now we are going to discuss all 3 clauses in detail one by one. Before starting the understanding of these clauses, you need to understand the meaning of 3 words. That is ex post facto law, which is also called as retrospective punishment. Second one is double jeopardy. Third concept is self-incrimination, which is being specifically stated in the articles. Article number 20, clause number 1, again clause number 2, double jeopardy, and clause number 3, self-incrimination. Now start with that understanding. Read it again. Clause number 1. Let's start with clause number. नो पर्सन, किसी भी पर्सन को कन्विक्ट नहीं किया जाएगा किसी भी ऑफेंस के लिए एक्सेप्ट कब, लेकिन कौन सी केसेस है जिनमें उसे ऑफेंस के लिए कन्विक्ट किया जा सकता, कब, फॉर द वायलेशन ऑफ लॉ, अगर वो वायलेशन कर रहा है उस लॉ का, इनफोर्स, जो भी लॉ इनफोर्स है उसके रेस्पेक्ट में कोई वायलेशन हुआ है, एट द टाइम ऑफ कमीशन ऑफ दैट, जब उसने वो काम किया है उस वक्त उसे कंसीडर किया जा रहा है चार्ज एज एन ऑफेंस। कोई काम आपने किया है किसी लॉ के तहत, तो एंड उस लॉ में द मोमेंट यू डिड इट, इट इज ऑलरेडी बिफोर दैट प्रेजेंटेड इन दैट इट इज कंसीडर्ड एज इलीगल और इट इज कंसीडर्ड एज एन ऑफेंस। इन दैट केस यू विल बी पेनलाइज्ड फॉर दैट और be subject to the penalty greater than which must be inflicted। किसी भी तरीके से पेनल्टी जो है ग्रेटर देन नहीं होगी, ज़्यादा नहीं चार्ज की जाएगी, जो कि उस लॉ में उस वक्त उस ऑफेंस के लिए मेंशन है। अंडर द लॉ इन फोर्स एट द टाइम ऑफ कमिशन ऑफ दैट एन ऑफेंस, सो इट इज एन एक्स फैक्टो पोस्ट फैक्टो लॉ that is also called a retrospective punishment. So here it is that it is stated, the article 20 clause number 1 state that, which is if we are summarizing in a few words all the three lines which is written, that is ex post facto law or retrospective punishment. in that case किसी भी पर्सन को गिल्टी या लाइबल ठहराया नहीं जाएगा या कन्विक्ट नहीं किया जाएगा फॉर दैट किसी भी ऑफेंस के लिए। वो ऑफेंस जब उसने किया वो उस लॉ में इलीगल नहीं था, ठहराया गया था, और इट इज नॉट कंसिडर्ड टू बी एन ऑफेंस इन दैट लॉ। Article 20 provides you the protection against all the criminal proceeding. बेसिकली आर्टिकल 20 जो है आपको प्रोटेक्शन दे रहा है किसके रिगार्डिंग में, क्रिमिनल प्रोसीडिंग किसी पर्सन के ऊपर अगर इनिशिएट हो रही है तो उन दिस रिस्पेक्ट में आपके फंडामेंटल राइट्स का वायलेशन ना हो। इन दैट रिस्पेक्ट इट हैज बीन प्रोवाइडिंग यू सर्टेन बेनिफिट्स और सर्टेन राइट्स। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ द राइट इज दैट एक्स पोस्ट फैक्टो, कि अगर आपने कोई काम कर दिया है, अगर वो लीगल है, इस वक्त उस वक्त लीगल था, ठीक है, इट्स ओके, बट किसी भी लॉ में किसी भी तरीके का अमेंडमेंट करके फॉर ए स्पेसिफिकली क्रिमिनल लॉज में अमेंडमेंट करके रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव अमेंडमेंट नहीं की जाएगी उस ऑफेंस को ऑफेंस ठहराने के लिए, या दैट एक्ट जो लीगल था उस वक्त उसको इलीगल ठहराने के लिए। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, if you had done murdered today and it is not being considered as a murdered in the laws, but laws cannot be changed retrospective, criminal laws में किसी भी तरीके से retrospective amendment नहीं किया जाएगा कि उस जो murder आपने उस दिन किया है retrospective amendment करके before that will be considered illegal. It is stating that, but retrospective amendments can be made in the civil proceedings. Civil laws में किया जा सकता है retrospective amendment. The most wonderful example of this, the retrospective amendment is that Vodafone capital gain tax case. I hope you are already in CA final, or most of them have taken the classes, or most of them would going to take the classes regarding that. The capital gain tax chapter in that Vodafone case law, that is a civil case. In that case, the capital gain is to be taxed by a back date. रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव अमेंडमेंट की गई थी कि इनकम टैक्स एक्ट में रिगार्डिंग टू टैक्सिंग द कैपिटल गेन टैक्स को रिगार्डिंग द वोडाफोन केस की वोडाफोन ने जो इन्वेस्टमेंट की थी वो रूटेड की थी मॉरिशस के थ्रू इन इंडिया में। तो इन दैट केस जो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स पे टैक्स था वो कैपिटल गेन टैक्स था, वो उसे अवॉइड किया था, तो इसलिए जो अमेंडमेंट्स की गई थी वो रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव। तो आर्टिकल 20 सब क्लॉज 1 आपसे ये कह रहा है कि किसी भी तरीके का रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव अमेंडमेंट आप क्रिमिनल लॉज में नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन सिविल लॉज में आपको अलाउड है। एंड किसी भी तरीके की पेनल्टी जितनी लॉ में मेंशन उससे ज़्यादा चार्ज नहीं की जा सकती कभी भी। बट मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज दैट इट ओनली प्रोवाइड्स द प्रोटेक्शन अगेंस्ट sentencing and conviction, but not the trials. Repeat after me what I said. It is only providing the protection against the sentencing and conviction, but not the trials. यानी it means अगर आपके trials initiate already हो चुके हैं, in that case that will be fine, but they cannot be sentenced or convicted you on that basis. Now read it here. Article 20 prohibits the imposition of retrospective punishment. Article 20 आपको retrospective punishment और it is known as ex post facto loss करके आपको किसी भी तरीके से punish नहीं कर सकता. It states that no person shall be punished for an act that was an offence at the time it was committed. जो कि उस वक्त जब आपने कमिट किया था तब वो ऑफेंस की कैटेगरी में नहीं आता था, किसी भी लॉ में उसको इलीगल नहीं बोला गया था. This provision ensures that individual cannot be held accountable for actions that were legal when it has been committed, but subsequently it become illegal. It is a landmark case, that is the Kedarnath versus State of West Bengal. In that case, the Supreme Court held that when an act is declared a criminal offense by the legislation or provides penalty for it, such declaration, it should be prospective in nature, it should not be retrospective. criminal proceedings के cases हमेशा किसी भी तरीके का offense को offense कहने के लिए वो prospective amendments होंगे, ना कि retrospective. वो another beautiful example of it is that you have seen that now the social media and internet has been, or digitalization or digital use of digital technologies has been used widely, and it is a major buzzword right now in the current contemporary times. So can you ever thinking about it कि इस तरीके से if using the internet or using social media accounts there can be any kind of offenses can be done which is already been provided in the law? No. Therefore the government is making such laws. If already make laws on that, or if any offense has been committed, after that they come to know that these kind of offenses also been done by using this, they can make the laws on that. For example, I am giving a good example about it, that is, have you heard about the virtual reality concept and augmented reality concept? In that you are creating a virtual avatar and going on a shopping or playing a game. Most of the it is used mostly widely or used in the video games. In that you are playing the video games by your virtual avatar. In that cases, there are many cases has been filed in the England or the UK regarding that mostly they are using for molestations, new online molestation, such kind of in avatar as well, online molestation, sexual harassment cases has been registered, these kind. Now the UK government is making laws on that because these kind of offences they have never imagined that can be also done through that. So criminal offences only can be made on a prospective basis, not retrospective. Okay, I have given the enough examples to help you to understand these things. Now next is, however, it is important to note that this clause only prohibits what? Sentencing and conviction, but not the trial. Therefore not the trial. Therefore a person accused under a particular procedure cannot claim protection अंडर द क्लॉज और डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ एक्स फैक्टर. अगर उसका ट्रायल चल रहा है तो ट्रायल के केस में ही कैन नॉट बी क्लेम और यूजिंग द आर्टिकल 20 सब क्लॉज 1 फॉर द गेटिंग एक्सेप्शन ओवर देयर. नेक्स्ट केस इज मोहनलाल वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ राजस्थान involving the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act. The court opined that Article 20 prohibits only the conviction and punishment, not the trial. Prosecution, again this has been repeated. Furthermore, a trial conducted on a different procedure from the existing one at the time of offence does not fall within the scope of this provision, cannot be deemed as unconstitutional. In that case, it is stated that, for example, there is a law in which before you have committed that offence, and for that offence it has been considered as illegal as well, and there are certain kind of procedure, but after you had done that offence, there the amendment has been made in the law regarding how the procedure has been regarding your trial is going. इट इज़ नॉट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल कि ट्रायल किस तरीके से प्रोसीड किया जाएगा, उसके जो प्रोसीजर उसे चेंज कर देगा. इन दैट केस यू कैन नॉट सेट दैट इट इज़ अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल. इट इज़ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है, सही है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है इसमें कि आप ट्रायल के प्रोसीजर को चेंज कर सकते हो, बट यू कैन नॉट बी अलाउड टू कन्विक्शन एंड सेंटेंसिंग. आई होप यू गेट द डिफरेंस ऑफ दैट इज आर्टिकल 20 subclause 1. It is only providing protection only for the criminal proceeding, not the civil proceeding. It only allows for the conviction and sentencing, not for the trial purpose. If the trial proceedings or procedure has been changed after the conviction as well, after the commitment of any act, in that case it is constitutional to change the proceeding procedure as well. Now these are the some of the points, not for civil laws, only for criminal laws के लिए आपको ये protection provide कर रहा है, and applies to sentencing and conviction, not for trial. And the last case, it is about the penalty of an offence should not be more than what is being mentioned in the law. Laws में जो आपको mention है उससे ज़्यादा कभी भी penalty नहीं होगी. Clause number 2. Now read it again, the clause number 2, which is, no person shall be prosecuted and punished for the same offence more than once. if you summarize this, it is known as a double jeopardy. What we called it, double jeopardy, कि किसी भी इंसान को एक ही ऑफेंस के लिए 2 बार ट्रायल नहीं किया जाएगा या कन्विक्ट नहीं किया जाएगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ समवन हैज डन द मर्डर एंड इट हैज बीन कन्विक्टेड एंड द पर्सन हैज बीन कन्विक्टेड एंड द ऑर्डर हैज बीन फाइनल, इन दैट केस नो अदर पर्सन इज आस्क्ड कि दूसरा कोई और पर्सन आकर कि नहीं इसने मर्डर किया था, दोबारा से इसका केस रीओपन, दोबारा से ट्रायल प्रोसीडिंग्स को और दोबारा इनिशिएट किया जाए. इस तरीके से नहीं हो सकता. इफ द पर्सन हैज बीन ऑर्डर्ड और कोर्ट का फाइनल ऑर्डर आ चुका है एंड पर्सन को कन्विक्टेड हैज बीन गिल्टी ठहरा दिया गया है इन दैट केस में, तो दोबारा से उसके ऊपर केस, उसी केस के लिए, उसी ऑफेंस के लिए दोबारा से ट्रायल और प्रोसीडिंग्स नहीं इनिशिएट की जा सकती. इट इज अबाउट, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज डबल जियोपार्डी. दैट इज, इट इज ऑल्सो इन द केस, the Article 20 prohibits a person from being prosecuted and punished for the same offence more than once. This principle of double jeopardy prevents individual from being subjected to multiple trials or punishment for the same offence. Once a person has been acquitted or convicted and punished for a particular offence, they cannot be tried or punished again for the same offence. In the case of the Venkataraman versus Union of India, now understand this case. In this case, the departmental proceedings, in this case, इसमें departmental proceeding has also been initiated side by side along with the criminal proceedings. क्रिमिनल प्रोसीडिंग्स भी चल रही थी और सिविल प्रोसीडिंग्स में डिपार्टमेंटल प्रोसीडिंग जो कस्टम एक्ट की प्रोसीडिंग्स होती, दैट आर ऑल्सो बीन इनिशिएटेड और गोइंग ऑन. इन दैट केस द क्वेश्चन इज आस्किंग कि ये इट विल बी फॉल इनटू द कैटेगरी ऑफ डबल जियोपार्डी और नॉट. The Supreme Court held that both criminal cases and civil proceeding cases have been a wider difference between these both proceedings and their acts and their laws and their offences as well. So if the person is being fall into the category of both of the cases, if any cases fall into both of the cases, in that case both proceedings are going on, they cannot be taken the protection of the double jeopardy. There is no double jeopardy because criminal proceeding के लिए criminal charges और criminal के लिए offenses अलग अलग considered किए जा रहे होंगे और civil वाले के लिए civil offenses considered किए जा रहे होंगे. because दोनों का जो Blockberger test है, it is known as a Blockberger test because दोनों की जो testing mechanism है वो दोनों के अलग हैं इस वजह से. So now read it. What has been it? The Supreme Court of India established that the provision deals exclusively with judicial punishments, जो exclusive with judicial punishments and provided no person is prosecuted twice by judicial authorities. Judicial proceedings से ही आपको protection provide की गई है only in Article 20. The most crucial landmark judgment came in the case of the Maqbool Hussain and versus State of Bombay, where the person accused of possessing some amount of gold, which was against the Lexi law at the time, and gold was confiscated by the civil authorities. And later when the person was prosecuted before a criminal court, because एक तो उस पे किसका चार्ज था कि he has accused of possessing कि उसके पास गोल्ड है, तो in that case में उस पे criminal proceedings भी, civil proceedings also been initiated by the Customs Act. And later when the person prosecuted before the criminal, the court was confronted with the question that there is a double jeopardy or not. The Supreme Court observed that the departmental proceeding by the custom authority does not amount to the trial by judicial tribunal का trial नहीं माना जाता क्योंकि वो authorities अपने respective tribunals में अपने एजेंट, for example income tax act में भी income tax tribunal है, customs act में भी custom tribunal अलग है, company law में NCLT के tribunal है, तो in that case में वहाँ tribunal अलग है अपनी अपनी respective, ये judicial tribunal है, judicial authorities का अलग है. Thus, the proceeding before the criminal court is not barred in this case, and the proceeding can go on. In the nutshell, departmental proceedings are independent of trial by judicial court and trial tribunal. However, the prosecution may happen if the facts are distinct in the subsequent proceeding. Same was established by Supreme Court of India in case A. Molla versus State of Maharashtra. Observe that cannot be attracted in those cases where facts are distinct for subsequent offence and punishment, because as I discussed it, the criminal proceeding and civil proceeding, the both are performing the Blockberger test, in which both have different criteria for considering an offence. They have their own respective test and criteria for considering any of the action to be an offence or legal or illegal. I hope you get that. Now, the most important or most beautiful or which is one of my favorite, it is that is clause number 3, which is that no person accused an offense shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. No person accused an offense shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. That is known as self incrimination. कि किसी भी पर्सन को अपने ही खुद के ही विटनेसेस के लिए नहीं खड़ा किया जा सकता. For example, if somebody is being convicted in a court and it is witnessing himself against himself, that cannot be used for the purpose of witnessing or as an evidence specifically mentioned for the criminal proceeding. I am again on over it, emphasizing that Article 20 only provide you protection from the criminal proceedings. This concept has been came from the USA, that is United States of America, in which the most important case it is Miranda versus Azirona, which is also known as a Fifth Amendment case. It is a case in which there was a person who has sexually harassed a teenager girl. In that case, the court has convicted that person on the basis of when he accepted his that he had done something like this. In that case, he went to the jail. In the jail, he met to the another person or another criminal. When he said this, ki I was witness against myself. In that case, the other criminal filed the case to the Supreme Court, said that the Supreme Court of USA said that nobody can be self-incriminate or used as a witness against himself for the purpose of proceeding of the case. कि किसी भी पर्सन को किसी ने कोई ऑफेंस किया तो वो खुद से ही अपने केस के रिगार्डिंग में विटनेस नहीं बन सकता है. It is only for the criminal proceeding, not the civil proceeding. You need to take into consideration this over and over again. Now read it. Article 20 subclause 3, ensure that no person accused in offence shall be compelled to a witness against themselves. This means that an individual cannot be forced, because police can also be used force or coercion against the person. For the purpose of that, you need to be witness in your case against yourself, because it helps the police to not to get any kind of evidence collection or to going with the procedural. So it may be cases ki the genuine person or the gullible person can also be convicted for the offense which has not been convicted by that person. That's why the court has been providing, or the constitution has been providing, the protection for that person. Individual cannot be forced to provide evidence or testimony that may incriminate themselves, कि उसके ही अगेंस्ट में सबूत के तौर पे यूज किया सके. It is a fundamental right that protects individual from being compelled to a witness in their own criminal prosecution. That is known as protection against self-incrimination. Could only be put into the effect if the person is accused of a criminal offense, only for the criminal proceeding cases. This doctrine could not be invoked for cases other than criminal. You cannot say that in front of the income tax department that or income tax tribunal that these documents cannot be used against myself for raising the income tax penalties over me, or the GST department or a custom act department, because they are the civil proceedings, they are not the criminal proceeding. In civil proceeding जो भी आप अपने evidences दोगे वो आपके अगेंस्ट यूज किए जा सकते हैं और एज ए एविडेंस माने जा सकते हैं. As also held by the Honorable Supreme Court in the Raja Narayan Lal Basilal Basis Menak Feroz Mistry, to claim the immunity from self-inquiry, there must exist a formal accusation against the person, and mere general inquiry and investigation does not form the grounds for the same. It means that if the police or the court is doing any kind of general inquiry over that, that is not being taken into consideration. For example, they want your thumb impression over certain papers, or your signature, that is been allowed, or your medical examination, that is allowed. But there is a issue over the cases of the narcotics and drugs. In that cases, if they are testing your narcotics and drug testing has been done over you, in that cases they need to be taken into consideration of the certain facts and procedure, and in that case there is a clash over Article 20 clause number 3 and over these acts. These safeguards provided under Article 20 are essential components for a fair and a just legal system के लिए हैं. They provide the fairness, protection against self-incrimination, ex post facto laws, and double jeopardy. It is important for the purpose of protecting the rights of an individual, because individual's rights are essential for the purpose of its own human dignity. Now, just let's get a brief or summarize whatever we had read. Article 20, it is providing the protection in certain offences which consists of 3 clauses. If you can summarize the 3 clauses, it is ex post facto, that is retrospective punishment. Second one, double jeopardy, and third clause is related to self-incrimination. Now, I want you to all guys, or all the people who are watching this video, just go through, flip the pages, all of the fundamental rights which we had discussed since so far, and make a mnemonics over there and mention in the comment section. I hope you like the session. Subscribe the channel, hit the like button. Thank you. This is for this. I hope you understand the article number 20. Have a good day.